This conference will now be recorded.
So the BVA and the ECP topic which we conducted in yesterday's topic, I gave you a task, right? The task is incomplete, you need to complete it. Let us get along with another designing technique, that is the black box testing technique, right? BVA boundary value analysis we discussed about, and the ECP equivalent class partition which we discussed about. Now it is time for us to do a decision table discussion over here, which is also called as cause effect over here, right? The other word of this decision table is nothing but called as cause effect, right? So it is nothing but a software testing technique where different input combinations are being entered and examining the behavior of that application, the output of the application is being captured, right? Let me put that line over here. It's a software testing technique to test with different input combinations and examining the corresponding behavior, which we call it as the output over here. That is output captured in a tabular format called as decision table or a cause effect over there, right? So the decision table has some conditions and actions to be done, right? Where we took an example of this user ID and a password, right? We will take up the same example, right, initially for this decision table, right, where we have some conditions are, we have a user ID, true false, TF is true false over there, that is nothing but a valid or an invalid, a password, it can be a valid or invalid over there. Either you write it as true false, either you find it as valid invalid, both are same over there. Right. Now based on this, the actions are the output, what you get is an error message or a home page. I'll make it abbreviated over here at the bottom, right? He says true inputs, right? Valid inputs, which we are talking about. Whereas F says false, that is invalid inputs you talk about. E defines error message to you, and H defines going to a home page. So when you're writing a test case, this is not a test case, this is a decision table. Based on this, you'll be writing it, right? So when you're writing a test case or whatever you're doing it, you use your shortcuts, right? Those shortcuts needs to be abbreviated either at the top or at the bottom, right? Before submitting to your leads or to your reviewer over there, right? So that they cannot get any confusions in that. So here, these are conditions and the actions, what we have it over here, right? Let me put it as a rule or a test case, anything over here. Rule 1, my first rule says I enter a user ID valid. I enter a password as valid over there. According to that, my output will be home page getting displayed. That is my first test case. So according to that, let me write it like this. Scenarios are, right, test case 1, right, user ID, password entered valid, home page to be displayed. That is the rule 1 says, right? Now second one, R2, I enter a user ID valid, password as invalid, I do get an error message over there, right? That is my test case 2. User ID valid, password invalid. Error message to be displayed. That is as per the second one. The third one, now I enter a user ID invalid. My password is valid, right? Still I get an error message over there. According to that, test case 3, user ID invalid, password valid, error message to be displayed again here, right? And the last one, we have these 4 combinations over here. Invalid user ID, invalid password, we still get an error message over there. So it depends on to the number of conditions and the actions, the number of cases or the rules can be prepared. So for this particular conditions, we got 4. Some other conditions you may get another 4 extra also, depends on the conditions over there, right? This is what you're talking about, a decision table for a simple user ID and a password condition, considering it as a login page, right? A user ID, password, and a output getting displayed over here. So this is how a table format will be prepared over here. So based on this, we'll try talking about another examples also, right? Say there is again conditions like this for you, where there is a user ID, there's a password, right? So something like a banking application, I'm talking about this. So in that case, I will check for the balance, right? Where I call it as adequate balance in account. These are my conditions. Whereas my actions are, right? I'll put it as like this now. Actions saying that login accepted. So, and this other action is amount dispensed. So dispensed, withdrawn, or transfer, whatever you can put it, over there. So will you people try for this now, the conditions? Will you try giving an answers for this as per the above one? So first one is user ID.
Mm.
Do I go with a valid one or invalid one? I'll enter a valid user ID, whereas I will evenly enter my password as valid, right? So based on this, the login will also do accept. I will check for my balance, the amount is available. Then I can withdraw of that amount over there. So everything is true over here. Right. The second rule, sorry. Shall we make the user ID valid? Let us make the password as invalid, right? What does happen here? Login will get rejected, right?
Rejected.
So I'll make it as false. So can we check the balance here?
Yes.
Huh?
No, no.
Now tell me the trick,
Did not
without
log in,
logging
right?
in, how can we
Yeah,
check the balance?
you cannot check
So it is
once.
not applicable, I will say it as. So we did not check our balance, so we cannot even withdraw the amount also, right? This is what my second rule says. Whereas the third one, any combinations, now user ID is invalid, password is valid, right? So login will get rejected. Yes, sir.
Rejected.
The same thing again, both. Any more? Fourth one.
User
User ID
F.
password. User ID.
User ID password is valid.
This is all first
Both
condition, sir. What you want?
both have to be
Both became false.
invalid.
User ID password will be true.
I changed it according to my first one. I logged in, got accepted, but I don't have amount in my account now. So I'm not able to withdraw that amount then. Right? That is another condition also over here. Getting it? Okay. We'll try another one.
Yes, sir.
Consider something as an ATM machine. Everybody is familiar with ATM, right?
Yes, sir.
Right? User inserts card, enters PIN, sufficient balance in account. Actions are reject card, prompt to re-enter PIN, amount transfer successfully. That is the actions over it. Now, according to this first one, you tell, I'll type it.
User inserted card. True.
Valid.
Like
Okay.
valid.
In
Yeah,
true.
enter PIN. PIN is
PIN.
correct.
Mhm.
Sufficient balance true.
There is sufficient balance. Yeah.
Right.
False. Rejected card false.
Yeah, you can write false or not applicable because that is not going to execute, right?
Yes.
However you write
Yes.
it as.
Yes, sir.
Prompt to re-enter PIN.
No, sir. False. NA.
No, false.
Okay. NA.
Amount transfer.
And amount transferred successfully.
Yes.
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 So this will become as a first condition, right? The second one then.
User input card true. Enter pin false. NA, sir. Sufficient balance NA. We can't find whether they rejected card. NA, sir.
NA.
True.
Huh? Now tell me, is it going to be a
Yes, sir.
true or
Sorry.
a false?
True, sir. Rejected card.
True.
True, sir.
When does your card get rejected, sir?
When we wrong enter the password.
Huh?
It's false.
Then when does your prompt to re-enter PIN will execute, sir? According to this, you entered a card valid, you entered a PIN invalid. So according to these two actions, which is the action going to execute now?
Re-entered pin, sir. That was true.
What about the reject card then?
Not applicable. False. NA.
Yeah, whatever. So either you write false, some even define it as only by putting a hyphen there. Right? Some web pages, some examples, they'll show it to you as hyphen also. Right? Do not get confused, people. Either they put hyphen, either they put false, or either they put as NA. Yeah, third one. Obviously, you say it as inserting card is invalid. What about the rest one?
False.
Not applicable, sir.
right?
And
NA, sir. NA.
Because you inserted a card wrong, there is no other condition, neither action will start doing it over there.
Yes.
The only action gets executed is reject card will execute, right? Any more you can get now?
true.
Okay.
True. True.
Okay.
Then false.
Mr. Harikiran says true, true, false.
There is no
NA, sir.
sufficient balance. NA.
NA, sir.
NA.
NA, sir.
False.
I'll put it as
Yes.
false there because not
False.
going to execute. Yeah, false in, right? Because there is insufficient funds, so I'm not able to transfer them. So that I can put it as, right? So this is how
Yes, sir.
you get along with the table preparation. Now you got 4 rules, you'll start writing 4 different cases over there for this, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is how it goes over there. So based on this, shall I give you another task also?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 tasks there. Try writing it for them. So the task 1 says, are you a salaried person? The rule says yes. And what is your income? If it is less than 25,000, yes, right? So these 2 will be blank there. So when does your loan get approval? Your loan gets approval when your salary is 75K, right? So that is what I say. Salaried, yes. Monthly income, 25,000 less, yes, right? So these 2 are not applicable, right? Loan will not approve, right? Loan gets rejected over there because your salary is less than the 25,000. So according to that, think about the number of rules you people can get that, right? Similarly, there is another task 2, right? You inserted an ID valid, but sorry, you entered a valid ID, valid password, right? So the third attempt, right? So third invalid password attempt and access to system, right? These are the conditions and these are the actions. So when does your reject ID with message will execute? When does this action gets executed? When you enter a ID invalid over there, right? Ask for a new password when, right, you have entered a invalid password over there, right? Account gets locked when you have done your 3 attempts of entering a password, right? Display error message when you have entered invalid card and invalid password, right? Allows user to log in when ID and password are valid. So that's how it is you're supposed to do it. Try how many rules you can get over here, right? This will be your task. Let me save this and I'll be sending you this email for you, right? So you just need to do that. So
Sir,
this
can
will be
you
your,
explain
sir,
task 1, sir? Can you explain me once?
Your loan
Salary.
will get approved only when it is a salary of 75,000.
Okay, sir.
It is okay. It is not mentioned there. When will the
No,
loan gets approved?
I
We
am
just
going.
have the okay. So when the salary is 75K, then the loan gets approved. Rest all
If
cases it will be
you're
rejected.
not salaried, but you have a 75,000 also, got confused again. I'm a self-employed, but I get
Okay.
75,000 every month now. Does the loan get approved or not?
No,
Why?
you have to be salaried, right?
75,000. I'm getting 75,000 daily. Sorry, monthly.
I think
When does this gets
it's
executed then?
when the right source
I'm a
of income is
yes.
short.
I'm not a
Yeah,
salaried
salaried.
person, but still I get 75K. I submit my documentations and visit the bank. I will get my loan
Yeah, we
approved.
do.
Think in that manner now, people. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rule is only 75K there. That is the
Okay.
exact point you have catch hold of it. Okay.
As per the conditions, the rules will be increasing, or how, sir?
Yes, as per the conditions and as well as the actions, both. So you raised a point. I'll give you a hint for this particular first condition.
Okay.
You get these many rules for this. That is the hint.
6 rules. Okay.
You'll get 6 rules for this.
Sir, you
Another
don't
The
write
answer.
condition.
anything.
Sorry, sir.
Sir, how much
What the
salary if you get approved the loan, sir? Below 25 or
75?
75?
75.
So, will there be any formula like here there are 3 conditions, so R6, or else how?
Nothing like that. Now, if I give that answer, you will get the complete
Okay,
rules there.
like for the in upper cases, sorry, yeah, in the older cases, if you could explain it here, like how many conditions and uh, the rules that were created as per the conditions.
Sorry, I
Here
did
there
not
are three.
understand.
Here there are 3
Sorry,
conditions, right?
3 conditions and 3 actions. So we got 4 you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hmm.
In the task you have given us, even there are 3 conditions and
And
3 actions.
sir, 4 conditions.
Salaried 4. Okay.
You're forgetting about the salary. I can understand it's been 2 years you did not go to the company. So
Okay.
there are 4 conditions and 3 actions.
Okay.
Fine. I'll reveal it a little bit here. 3 yes, 3 no. Did you catch that?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Based on that.
Okay.
So when I said R6 is the answer, so
Yeah.
according to that, there will be 3 yeses and 3 no's.
Okay.
Right. Think about that and try writing the decision table for those. Right. So this is where we conclude our black box testing techniques over there. One more method is there for us, that is gray box testing. We'll close this. Gray box testing is a combination of white box and the black box, right? But it is similar to your black box testing only, right? Unlike your black box testing, here test engineers will work on the user interface with a partial coding coverage over there, not the exact full programs to be used over there, right? Combination of white box and black box. Sorry. Unlike black box testing, right? Test engineer will test user interface uh, by using partial coding coverage, they say it as. So I took an example for the white box testing and the black box testing is an aquarium. I took it. Where is it? Okay, that was in a different word. No. Right, you people remember the aquarium which I took an example over there. So aquarium, glass, see-through, where we're talking about white box testing, internal structures, right? So the glass covered with the paper, black box testing, which we said the external structures. Now both are being covered, right? So where we are saying it as a partial coding coverage. So in that case, let me put up an example over here as automation, right? Inside the automation, I will evenly take up a selenium as an example, much more, right? So why am I taking a selenium as an example over here for you is, you can see, anybody's attending selenium classes in this team?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
No worries, no worries. Whoever's attending does not matter. Who's not attending is also does not matter, right? Why I asked you who's attending is, did you write programs in the selenium that you written or your lecturer has written or not? Right? You have written a Java program. Right. For what purpose did they write or they made you write those programs? For what purpose you are writing those Java programs in your Selenium?
For automation testing purpose.
Testing the code? Sir, you don't give this answer to that lecturer, he'll bash you out. It is nowhere, right? Nowhere we are testing the code while writing the program. It becomes something like this. Testing the code, we are writing coding. I think that does not make a sense there, right? Make it clear. We are testing the web page functionality for your clarification, right? We are writing a program to test the web page there. Web page, especially functionality. Apart from that, there's nothing else you can do using a Selenium over there, right?
Only a web page. Okay, right. Got it.
Sorry, sir. Yes, Mr. Swapnil, you're saying something.
No, sir. I got it.
Right.
Selenium
When
for
we
only
said,
web pages.
yes, it is only for the web pages there.
Yes, yes.
And I forgot the line. What I was talking about. Yeah.
Why we are writing the
writing the programs, right? Selenium is writing Java programs, right? For your clarification, who's not attending over there, we are writing only oops of Java. Do not get it into a worry that you have to write or you have to learn entire Java. No, we'll only write oops. It is only a 5% of Java, right? That you have to handle it. right? A web page to be tested by using Selenium, in a sense, you'll be using a Java programs over there, right? So that is what it is. Now, when we are talking about programs, can I say this is a white box testing?
Yes, sir.
Right? So in that case, can I say this web application functionality testing as a black box testing?
Yes.
So in that case, combination of these two can be called as a gray box testing.
Yes, sir.
So my better example is a Selenium. It is covering the programs and as well as it is covering the testing also.
Testing.
So when we are talking about covering testing, we are using only partial coding coverage. Where is it? Here I mentioned it as, right? So I said Java program, not a complete Java, only oops of concept there, right? But here we are doing the entire testing on a web page, the entire functionality testing over there, right? It is similar to your black box testing over there. So that is being covered over here. That is why the gray box testing is an example as Selenium over there. That is a much better example for you, right? So the advantage itself is combined benefits. But what about the drawback there? The drawback is a time taken process, because in the black box testing, you need to cover the test cases. When it comes down to the white box testing, you need to write your scripts also, right? Fine. The task will be distributed over there, right? But generally, we are talking about test cases, script generating, everything to be done. Because based on the scripts only, based on the cases only, the script will be generated. So it will be a time taken process over here, right? So that is how the gray box testing is being talking about over there. Is it clear with this?
Yes,
This is where we conclude our methods of testing. Sir.
Can you repeat, sir? Your voice is not coming in. Can you repeat one?
Repeat.
Gray box testing.
Yeah, gray box testing is a combination of programs and testing. That means white box testing and a black box testing, right? So we are taking an example of a Selenium. Selenium will not, it is not used for writing a test case, right? It is only used for writing scripts and executing the scripts onto a web page, right? Now, how do you write those scripts based on your black box testing test cases you write, right? Here is your test case which you have, not the test case, this is a decision table, right? Based on this, you'll be writing a test case, right? You have mentioned it. According to that, they'll be writing programs, scripts over there, the Java programs they'll be writing it. So both combined is your gray box testing over there. Clear? Right.
Yes.
So this is where we conclude our methods of testing. Let us come down to a next topic called as levels of testing. Right. Levels of testing, what I exactly did is I put only 3 levels over here. These I put. But you people have anything browsing, following any websites or any YouTube channels. So right, I don't mind you people are doing it, but according to me, I did this part in this manner. Because you people are browsing any web pages, following any websites over there, they mention a nice lamba chauda list of the levels of testing names, where it covers functionality, where it covers acceptance, where it covers non-functionality also, all these things, right? But what I did is I put up all those into my system testing itself, because we are calling this as complete testing. So according to me, I did this is all these, the functional, the non-functional, the acceptance, all the levels, all the different types and levels I put up under my system testing itself over there, right? This is according to me. End of the day, all are being covered over there for you, right? So earlier we discussed about the unit testing and the integration testing in yesterday's session, yesterday or day before yesterday, right? So which are coming under your white box testing methods over there. These two testing techniques do come under your white box testing technique over there, right? So the system testing is going to cover in this manner, right? Is done by test engineer using the black box testing techniques over there, right? The following are, right, the system testing, why it is called as complete, I'll be putting the list here. It is GUI testing, performance testing, functional testing, security testing, right? These are the covered, right? The performance and the GUI do come under your non-functional testing. The functional and the security do come under your functional testing. This is how again it has been divided there, right? So any application, product, project, software, hardware, these are the four things which we are going to cover. Not only software, hardware application also is being covered, all these. Shall we do some guesses onto any product? The very first product which we picked up in our first day class, pen. Why don't you talk about that particular pen of these four testing techniques? GUI. What is GUI called as?
Graphical user interface.
Right. So in a pen, when you're catching hold of a pen, what is it you'll be checking the GUI part over there? They say,
Appearance.
yes, they say you are talking about look and feel. Yes, somebody said appearance, the company logo is there or not, the color of a pen, right? The dimensions of the pen, all such kind of things will be talking about. Yeah, grip also you can accept it as. So this is what you talk about, look and feel aspect, right? Performance, as we have already talking about it as a response there. Then in a pen, what do you talk about performance here?
Is right or not?
It is writing or not. Then what is it you'll be testing in the functionality, sir?
How long is that going?
Durable.
Duration,
we can
durability of the
use?
pen there, right?
Yeah.
You're doing the same mistake which
I
you did the very first day, people. It's been more than 2 weeks now, right? You're talking about how long duration the pen can write up to. Cap removing or not? No, that does not come under performance, sir. Functionality, now we'll talk about writing. Security, yes, now your answer can be here. What is the security under your pen?
When the time we kept that pen in our pocket, is that ink flowing or not?
Cap will be your answer. Mr. Harikiran, that answer will be suitable over here. I'm putting a cap onto my pen to secure my pointer, not to get damaged, either it falls down, this one. Right? So security, protection. So my example is a cap. So we picked up a small pen over there. So we got these four. Now tell me, apart from these four, is there any other things to be tested? Yes or no? Then that's the answer. You people are silent. That means there's nothing else to be tested then onto the product called pen.
Sir, my side small
Yes, sir.
question. Only cap, how it possible, sir? Refill, pen inside refill color. Your only cap, how it possible? Explain.
Sir, security.
Okay.
You're catching hold of a pen right now.
Yeah.
Once my session is completed, what do you do? What do you do with the pen now, once the session is done?
We will cap it.
Why do you cap it?
Put on the cap. It might get spoiled if it is left unopened. The pen pointer might
Maybe
get
the
spoiled.
pointer get damaged, or maybe it can get dried up, right? Something, all these things. So I'm talking about a cap of a pen will be a security over there. I'm protecting my resources over there. Fine, you raise that word, I will start talking about from the security itself, right? So you're talking about security, so we'll start off from the security itself, right? So protecting our resources from an unauthorized person is called security. How do you protect your resources from an unauthorized person? Any examples? One second.
Like an ATM card, we create a pin.
One second, people. Right, where are we? Yeah, we are talking about protecting our resources, locking for an account, ATM pin. Yes, all that you can put it as authorization. That is what I said it as an example. Right, authorizations do come as an user IDs. Authentication, right? All your pins, right? Passwords, all do come under that over there, right? There's another one. Encryption. What is mean by encryption? That was nice answer, sir. Harikiran, bike handle locking. What is mean by encryption? Which says changing from readable to non-readable format. So what does mean by this? So related to this, I'll ask you a question. When we type a password, is the password visible, yes or no?
No, sir.
No, we either. Fine.
I'm taking a Gmail. There's an email ID over here. and I type a password, I just randomly type a password here. No, I'm not talking about this show password. I'm only talking about, is the password visible, yes or not?
No.
Sir,
No,
Sir,
sir.
English is a funny language, right?
yes.
It is visible in an encrypted. You can see those dots or the stars over there. Can't you see? Your people eyes are not clear or what? What was my question? Is your password visible, yes or not?
Yeah.
It is
Visible
visible
but not
in an
readable.
encrypted format, because whatever I typed it from the keyboard, which is readable, but when I look it on the screen, it is non-readable format. Yes, that is what it is, right? Related to that, the next one will be decryption. Vice versa. Now here your answer comes, right? Show password option. This is decrypting from non-readable to the readable format, right? Test engineers, think every time differently. You have to think it, right? Understand the requirements, understand the question properly over it, right? So this is what all comes under your security issues over there, right? So somebody asked me how a cap can be called as a security. Did your query solved here, sir? Okay, somebody asked me, no response. Sure. So one of the testing technique we have covered over there is security. Let us get along with our GUI testing again in that case, right? We'll come down into our format. GUI testing, we said. Which is also called as static testing, right? Static testing means testing the application without performing any operations, but the actions performed are look and feel aspects over here. But this covers both a static and a dynamic object over here. Now, what is a static object and what is a dynamic object over here? What is a static object and what is a dynamic object? Static meaning what?
Constant.
Dynamic means
Doesn't change.
Staying
Sorry,
constant.
constant. The value is constant. Now here is your page. Which object is a constant object? Suppose we take Gmail static, whether Gmail is present or not, dynamic if we are able to click or not. I did not understand that, sir. I'll make it in my way. The text box is a dynamic object. The value keeps on changing. I'm typing something else. Somebody is typing something else. The value keeps on varying. The label of the button is a static, right? So my links labels are static, right? The text box will become as a dynamic over there, right? So end of the day, both are correct, but I did not understand that line what you mentioned it. So here it is covering both the objects. That is what we said, static and a dynamic objects. Static, the value which is constant. Dynamic, which is where the value keeps on varying, right? The variable's value keeps on changing over there, right? And when they said look and feel aspects, now what are those aspects over here? We say it as availability. Yeah, I'll come down to that, sir. Alignment, consistency, spell check, and the position. These are the different testing techniques under your GUI testing. Related to this, we will evenly write a test case also, right? Let us get along with an Excel sheet now. So what I'll do is I'll take up a very simple login page as an example, right? Considering there is a logo over here, right? Consider that is a logo for you. There are some links like contact us. There's a company link. There is a service link. There is a review link. Consider them like that. Yeah, I put only these four. So you want to put more, you can put it there. Right? Login we are going to do. There is a user ID, a password, and there's an OK button. And consider these two are your text boxes. Right? Now, without performing any operations, we are supposed to do testing on this page. Right? I'll name it as the sheet name. I'm giving it as a test case over here. Right? So let us try to work onto this page by writing a test case without performing operations. I said links. What is the operation you'll be performing over there? Right, you'll only do a clicking. So which we are not going to do that over here under the GUI or the static testing. The text boxes where we type the input values, again, we are not going to do that over here, right, under GUI testing. So what is it going to cover? These are the things which we are going to cover it. The aspects, the types over here, right? Let us see how do we write over here. My columns will be a very basic column steps, columns for my test case I'm covering over here, because when we start the exact practical, the columns will be different. Step description, expected value. Right. My first aspect is availability, right? So when you look at a page, you'll always start from the header section and move to the footer. So what is the very first content in my header is my logo. So my first step over here, right? So I'll start talking about check for logo. Now check for logo in a sense, is there any operation done? Otherwise clicking, typing, anything, nothing. So what was the action over here? We are just looking at it. Logo is there? Yes, it is there. Where is it placed? It is placed somewhere there, right? The links are there? Yes, they are there. What is the alignment they are using it, right? So this is what we are talking about the GUI, all the look and feel aspects. So they tell me to check for the logo. My expectation is logo must be available, right? I'm putting it in a shortcut at the AV. Consider that is an home page. Must be available in home page. That is what I will mention it as, right? My second step, check for following links, right? Because every page has different links. So this page has these links, I'm mentioning them. That is why I said it as following links. Contacts, company, service, and the review. I'll say it as all links must be available in home page. That is what for the links is. Third step, check for login. We'll start from the login label, user ID label, and text box, a password label, and the text box according to that. OK button also. So I'll say all objects must be available in home page. So this is where I'll talk about my availability, right? So my availability is done. I'll get along with my alignment. So alignment, consider in the client requirement, they said alignment to be center. You have to mention it. Let me write like this. Check for alignment. If it is mentioned in the client requirement, should be center, right? Object must be center aligned. It is mentioned in that. If it is not mentioned, you'll always consider it as universally aligned. So when we're talking about universally, right? I'll pick up an example of wedding invitation cards will be an example. What is the alignment of a wedding invitation card universally? Whichever wedding invitation you are considering, it is an Hindu, Muslim, or Christian, or whatever it is. What is the alignment this invitation cards are following? And you see this invitation is a Hindu invitation. And if you see this is Khalid Malik, that means it is a Muslim invitation card. You want me to open a Christian one, I'll open it. I'm not able to get those names. What are they? Yeah, Hemant, Akshay. Yeah, Johnson and Jarina. So these are this is a Christian invitation card. So you see all those invitation cards. What is the alignment they are following? In the Excel sheet, you can see all the alignments. Here it is a top alignment, a left alignment, right, center, middle align, and bottom align. Right? So those are the alignments over there. Whereas for the invitation card, it is always following a center alignment. You see this invitation card? It's a Muslim marriage, but it is still typed in English. It is following. Even though you open this, yeah, I'm going with an Pakka Urdu over here, right? They are also following. It is being typed from right to left. I'm not talking about that over here. Example is this. You see, actually, this is also in English. So here's one of the card over here. In the middle over here, you can see it is in a center alignment, right? This is a complete folded card over there. Do not get confused. Even though it is written in Urdu, it is center aligned over there, right? Here. Actually, it is also in English. Here it is. This is completely Urdu. It is all a center aligned, right? So universally aligned. That is what we say it as. Whereas the third one we come down is consistency, is talking about right, the font size, the type, and line spacing. When we picked up an example over here, you can see the names will be different. The bride and the bridegroom names will be different font and the style, right? Here is your example, right? The name of the bride and the bridegroom names are in a different form, font, style, size, right? And the line spacing is also different. where it comes down to the venue and the date, the font size and the type and line spacing are different. So that is how it is being talking about over here. Coming down to spell check. So sixth one is check for spelling. All objects must be correctly. If your spelling is being spelled wrong, what happens in an invitation card? If your venue or your names of the bride and bridegroom's names are spelled wrong, what happens to you? What you will do? Name changed, venue changed, the gift goes to someone else then, right? So that is what you put it as position. And the position is only talking for the company logos, the titles, right? Or the images you'll talk about, right? So according to our example over here on the top, it is only one there image, or sorry, that is a logo there. I'll say for check for logo. Logo must be placed at top. It is to the left. I'll say it as left corner over here, right? If my image in my invitation card, the image is, I don't have any images over here. Here, there's an image over here, right? A small over here, you can see. Also, let me take up something else. Yeah, this is an image, right? It should be placed to the left over here, according to them, right? According to the requirement, we'll say it as, right? So here, the image to the bottom right corner, right? It is a title over here. Somebody's name, Ridhima, right? It is the title to be placed at bottom left corner, it says, right? So that is how you are going to talk about a position over there. And this is how we write a case for the GUI testing over here, right? So this is how we write a basic format, which I covered it. Clear? We covered all the aspects. That will be with your GUI testing. Clear? We'll come down to the next one is performance testing. When we said performance, that means here test engineer will be checking the application response over here. Right here we are checking how well the application is responding to the user request, and it is being conducted in different ways over here, right? The very first one we talk about is a load testing, right? A load testing is where the application is running by user request, the number of users accessing the application over here, right? And the user required load. Example, my client says, let me put like this. My client requirement is, right, a web page to start with number of users, minimum 50 users, the web page to start over here, right? So running an application and a user required load, right? Minimum load there, let me put like this. Minimum load and to find out the breakpoint, which we call it as the maximum over here. But here now my client says number of users minimum is 50. So when you people are doing the testing over here, you'll always start, maybe you can start up with one user adding at a time and going up to the 50th number, right? Or else choose your own number. It is all dependent on you as a performance test engineer, right? Choose your own number. They don't mind in that manner, but adding each one user, which will be a much better option, because we can get to see the number of users, who's able to access the page, who's not able to access the page, right? If a defect raised, which person is not able to respond into that, we can get a clarity onto that when we go each one user at a time, right? Say like we added up the number of users, it stopped at 49. Now what do you consider it as a defect, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
The type of defect you consider it is a load defect, because my client said the web page to start from 50 users, it is not even reaching that minimum there, so we consider it as a defect over there. The load defect will be given to the developers, it gets rectified, we got the clarity 50. Now what I want is, you test engineers will add more number of users, yes or no?
Yes.
You will add, because you want to ensure what is the application response to the rest of the number of users beyond 50, right? So whatever number it is, that is there, right? But now my client says max is 100, and here we came down to 99. Now tell me, is this a defect, yes or no?
Yes.
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 I say no. I say it is not a defect. Yes, max is 100. We are inside the limit over here. We are not gone beyond the maximum, right? We are inside it. But what about this person? It is a defect, because the user, it is not supposed to respond beyond the maximum. The example which I'm taking up over here is your results web page. You have an idea about what happened during that day when you people are checking for your results? How was the web page responding?
It doesn't respond.
Because you are beyond the maximum capacity. Yes, the server of that web page was only able to handle 100 number of users, and we are 101. It will not respond to this person, but when is it going to respond to this person? When anybody closes inside that 100 there. They check the result, they close the web page, then first come first serve. We are in the 101, so it starts responding to now us, right? That means we fall under 100, right? This person goes up to 99. Just behind us, the other person comes down like this, right? So this is how the pages are responding over here, right? We are calling it as a defect if the page responds. It is well and good if it responds, but as per the client, we have to work as per the client only. Client says 100, Ensure all the 100 able to access. Beyond the 100, it should be buffering, takes time, and so on. And what is it? You are having a nice high-speed internet, but still it is loading. Why? Reason behind that is the server is only able to give access to 100, not more than 100 over there, right? So this is how you can put up a load testing. Related to this, a test case can also be written. I'll give a sheet name as performance test case. Right. My serial number, load to apply, they will say my expected value over here, right? If I'm doing an execution, I will evenly consider an actual value and as well as the result, right? My requirement says like this. Client wanted from 50 users, right? Yes, everybody needs to access. That is client requirement, right? Expected value. When I'm doing the execution, yes, everybody is able to access, then I will consider it as a pass. Either any one of the user is not responding, then I'll consider it as a failed over there. So client wanted more number of users to do the checking there, right? It is still yes. He wanted more to add again because he wants to see the response over there. So that will be the limit X, right? The server is only responding up to 200. So the requirement got up to the 200 and closed it over there, right? So this is how the performance load testing will be tested. Case will be written in this manner, right? There's another one called as stress testing, right? Running an application by multiple number of users for multiple actions response over there, right? So the example is an Amazon, any shopping website, you can pick it up as an example. Right. I'll make 10 users to only perform login operation there, right? And I'll make 10 users browsing option, right? Browsing for the products there. And I'll make 30 users doing a payments option. So one application needs to respond in 3 different manners for multiple number of users, right? Trying to put a lot of stress onto that application by performing these kind of an actions there, right? So that is what your stress testing will be. Whereas the next one is volume testing, is where using some resources, right? Resources like data source or using some devices over there. Say like example, they gave you a task to search for students' records, right? Of 100, consider them it as 100 in 1 minute, 60 seconds over there. So what do? We'll do in 2 ways. First, let us check the application performance without using any device. Like example is your flash drive, pen drive you call it as, right? Printers, scanners, such kind of examples you can put them as, right? And then check the application performance with using some device, right? When you connect your flash drive, is the system responding immediately, or does it take some time over there? Once you connect your flash drive, at least for a second or so, you need to take some time, right? The memory of the machine should allocate to the pen drive. So at least a second, then that means the response has taken extra time over there. So related to that, my test case will be like this. I'll make some 100 users to buy something called 50 products, right? Quantity where you can select for, right? So in the shopping websites, you have quantity option, the volume. It is all based on the shopping websites warehouse, how much quantity they have. They can show up the quantity, 1, 2, how many you can buy it over there, right? So that is what you can put it under your volume. Last one will come down, that is reliability testing. This is where you're talking about duration of application by making it run for long time, right? I'll put up one last test case over here. Right? So I'll make them do one action like this, like 10 users per login operation. Ten users for 1 second. 10 users login per 20 hours of time. So my task with duration, my task is making those 10 users login. Duration I mentioned it as for 20 hours. So how is it the application going to respond for these number of users for this particular time over there, right? So the 20 hours will become my expectation. So I did not mention my expected value at this. Directly I went on with my actual value column over there, right? So this is how we talk about over here, writing a test case, performance test case, which we are talking about, right? All these 4 different test cases over there, right? So any queries for the day? Let us discuss. We'll put the functional testing, the topic, in tomorrow's session. Where is it? We'll put that functional testing and various testing techniques under functionality. We'll put them in tomorrow's session. We'll be evenly writing a test case also for the functionality.